Hey, how's it going? Welcome aboard. It is I, TJ, and welcome to M5 Property Addicts, a place where we just talk about anything and everything around property. And today I am going to be sharing with you a couple of things of how to buy your first property ever, right? If you've never bought a property, especially a property that is of rental purposes, this video in here is going to showcase to you how you can do that. It is so much easier. I became Investor of the Year 2019, the big leagues. So these processes that I'm going to be sharing with you, it is nothing that I haven't done. I have done all of these steps and they have given me cash flow. So number one, let's talk about what is a property that you want to buy for investment purposes. So remember, it is an investment purposes. So I always say that in property, you can earn money twice, right? You can earn money twice. You can earn money by obviously getting rental income today, and you can also earn money by having money tomorrow. Tomorrow could be a couple of months' time, or it could be a year's time, or it could be a couple of years later. But basically what we're talking about is the appreciation on the property. But today I'm not going to be talking about that. I've got a whole lot of other videos where I have shared on our YouTube channel on here on the same topics of either buying a property for cash flowing or buying it for appreciation. I'm a big fan of having both in the pocket because then I know exactly that I am working twice when having one property. Okay, so let's jump into it. What is it that we are going to be talking about? We are going to be talking about, right, how to buy your first property ever, and this is your rental property that we are buying today. And I've got around about 9 steps that I'd like to share with you guys, and I think that all of these steps, you can do them right now, like right now, right? I'm going to make an assumption that you are able to go and borrow some money at the bank, as an example, and you've got a little bit of money that is saved. But if you don't have money at all, I have other videos as well where I share with you on how to buy properties with no money down. Yeah, right. But let's not talk about that today. Let's talk about how you can buy that first property ever. It's your rental property ever. You've got goosebumps, you've got butterflies, and how are you going to do it? It is not an overnight. Let I also say that. It is not an overnight. It's an exercise that you can do, and I think you can do it in a number of ways. Step number 1, prepare your finances. What do I mean by that? You need to be able to know at any point how much you qualify for. So the first step that you need to be doing actually is just to pause and go through onto online. There are many platforms that give out what is called credit reports. That is your first step ever, right? Go through to online, check out to see how much you qualify for or whether your credit standing is good. So you want to go online and check, and there are all these companies that offer credit reports, the likes of TransUnion, Experian, Credit Score. There's a whole lot of them that you can go online and you can check to see exactly where does your credit reporting stipulates. Obviously on there, it will then start indicating to you whether you are a bad person, or in terms of the report, not a bad person in particular, but what does your report saying about you? If it is saying that you need to resolve a couple of things, don't go out there and look for credit. If it is saying that you're a good individual in terms of your credit report, obviously you now want to go ahead and go on to the next step, right? So first step, ensure that your financials, your credit report or your credit scoring is at the optimum. Your credit score will tell you, read it, study it. It already tells you where you are. It also indicates to you what you should be doing if it is not 100%. Now, step number 2, now that you understand your financials, you should be able to actually go in and understand what is the price range of this property that you're wanting to buy. Because obviously there's many properties that you can buy If you're qualifying, let's assume for around about 400,000 or 500,000 or 1 million, it doesn't necessarily mean that you need to go and buy for that much. I generally suggest that, seeing that this is your first property, if you qualify for 1 million rand, I suggest you go out and buy for something like 400,000, 500,000. Why do I say that? It is just for you to get your feet wet and understand the process without having to go through and spend lots of money. Maybe this is not for you. So if you do it once with something small, you can press that exit button. Step number 3, you need to find your area. You need to find your area. What do I mean by that? Not all areas are good for what you're wanting to do. Remember, we did indicate in the beginning that the first thing ever that we are wanting to do is that we are buying this for investment. So what kind of investments are you looking for? My happy place is having an investment on both sides. Having cash flow, which means that I am having a property that's giving me money today. I buy it, it's giving me money today. Tomorrow, I can also bank on the same property so that it can give me appreciation. We spoke about that in the beginning. So if you are finding your area, what kind of area are you comfortable to be investing in? Remember now, this is your goose. This is your gold that you are putting aside. So is your goose giving you some eggs right now? That's the question. And obviously, not all areas are the same. Other areas I do not invest because I'm not personally comfortable. My security as an individual is not safe in that area. I don't like to be in that area. Am I happy with what is happening within that particular area? There are certain reports that you can pull down from the internet without having to pay an arm and a leg. And for instance, you can go on to www.tpn.co.za and you can actually go to see the suburb that you're wanting to buy a property in for the first time ever, to see whether this is an area that you are happy to buy into. You want to look at things that trends. Are they properties that are on rent in that particular area? And if the answer is yes, are people paying in that area? So obviously, if it's in the area where people are not really paying their rent, I would get worried, because then if I buy in an area like that, then that means that my property is going to be not to be so much of a good goose. It is a bad goose. It's taking money away from me. So that's step number 3. And I have done another video as well on here on YouTube to talk about how to find your areas, because there are many ways you can do it. Step number 4 is understanding how to run numbers. Understand how to run numbers. People speak about hidden costs, that whenever you're buying a property, there's hidden costs. No, there are no hidden costs. You just didn't know it. And if you're doing this for investments like what we have spoken about, obviously doing your homework is very important. So when you go out there to meet the estate agent, you need to understand how much are you buying the property for. Can you put in an offer? And if you put in an offer, what's the likelihood of you paying what we call closing costs? This is your attorney fees. This is all the other fees that are involved in purchasing a property. And you can go ahead and ask all of those things up in front. So that is number 4. Number 5, you need to actually go view properties. So let's recap. Number 1, you have prepared your finances. You actually know your credit report is telling you how much, or should I say not how much, but it's telling you that you can go to the bank and borrow some money. Number 2, you actually know where your price range is. Number 3, you now understand the area that you want to invest in. Maybe you actually stay in the area that you want to invest in. That's also a good start. And now we are saying that step number 4 is understand how to run numbers. So running numbers just basically means that you have a solid understanding of, if you're to buy this property, are you going to have cash flow? Are you going to make profit? What are the costs that are associated in buying this property? And if you have all of this, you can literally do this on a spreadsheet. And if you're one of those people who are interested actually in learning how to do this properly, like an investor, for you to be getting, well, awards like me, like I did, to become Investor of the Year 2019, this is one of those things that is very important, and you want to check out my website, M5 Property Varsity, a school that we have put together for people actually that want to learn how to do these things. And in one of the courses, actually running numbers is a specified area that we zoom in to educate people on how to do this. Because you don't want to buy something that you're going to be losing money. You want to buy something so that you make money. So that's the fourth thing. Understand how to run your numbers. Okay, number 5, go view properties. I remember when I started off, the first thing that I was I got to understand with my coach, he said to me, "I've got a coach." Yes, I do. Even though I'm Investor of the Year, I do have a coach. Everyone needs to have a coach or a mentor. And if you're asking yourself, where do I get one? Again, visit M5 Property Varsity. Now, how many properties do you need to view before you put in an offer? Right. My first ever property that I ever bought, it was a 2-bed, 1-bath. I actually bought it at the back of viewing round about 62 properties. I had seen 62 properties. I had put in offers on some of them until a good deal came by. So what was that property? It was a 2-bed, 1-bath. It was on the market for 400,000 somewhere there, and I bought it actually for 160,000. Yeah. So you can see, you need to look at as many properties that you can see. Set some time aside on a weekend, after work, whatever the case is, so that you can view as many. The more you are going to be viewing more properties, the many you are going to, the more properties you're going to see, the more you're actually going to understand the type of properties that are out there. Don't be pressurized, don't be bullied with the estate agent when they say this is a good property, you should buy it now. Explore, 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 and explore, and explore. But whilst you're exploring, put some offers as well. Run your numbers and then put your offers as well. Okay. Step number 6, what are the hidden costs? We speak about hidden costs, but I don't talk about hidden costs because there's nothing hidden in property. Everything actually is out there in the public domain. If it is hidden, you just don't have the right partner on your team who understand what are those costs are. So my suggestion to you is that whenever you are thinking hidden costs, to us we call them closing costs. We already know what those closing costs are. We already know how much we are going to be paying for the attorney. If there is any form of construction that needs to be done, renovations and things like that, we already know upfront all of those fees, right? So understand those numbers, understand all of those costs, and then go into your spreadsheet and factor all of that, and also put in what I call contingency, just in case if things go wrong. Are you putting a 5% contingency, a 10% contingency, a 20% contingency? If you're really putting in a 20-30%, you really don't know what you're doing in the first place. You need to understand, do your homework. The 7th thing is, we speak about your area. This is actually kind of like a tip. I like to play in old neighborhoods. Why do I like playing in old neighborhoods? Because in the old neighborhoods, if you look at it, especially in the metros that we stay in, you'll understand that from the old neighborhoods, they come with a bigger space. They come with a bigger space, which is your yard, and they also come with big living spaces. And for that reason, especially for me, I'm in the business of buy-to-let, which is my rental business. We've got around about 200 tenants right now, and then additional about 350 students that we manage across the country in the different cities that we're in. The reason why I like being in the old neighborhoods is because I get value for money, and I can create more living space. And if you create more living space, it basically means that you are going to be creating more money for yourself. All right. Step number 8. Now that you understand all of this, your area is now just, I've just thrown you in a tip on to say, work within the old neighborhoods. And now you're on step number 9. I'll say, don't be scared to put in an offer. Don't be scared to put in an offer. But when you're putting in an offer, you want to have special conditions in there. And again, we've got another video where we talk about special conditions. However, special conditions is not an umbrella that needs to be just be given, or it is a standard. You need to have standard special conditions. Not necessarily so, right? Conditions are set for each particular property. So there's like hundreds of special conditions that you can have, but you want to customize it for each deal, for the property that you are actually having a view on, and the one that you're going to be putting in. And also look at your financial circumstance. And there's some secrets on how you can do it as well, so that even if the deal falls through, you don't have to be in trouble. What do I mean by being in trouble? You can't just go out willy-nilly and put in offers, and if they are accepted, then you want to walk away. It doesn't work like that. If it's accepted, now you're obliged to actually go and buy it. So you need to have exit clauses in your offer to purchase, so that if something goes right, but it is not comfortable with you, you can walk away clean. All right. Then step number 9, you now actually have your property, right? Your offer has been accepted and your money is there to buy all of these properties. What you now need to be doing is that you now need to fulfill all of the needs, or should I say not the needs, you need to fulfill all of the requirements that are there. And out of all of that, now you have your first property. It might sound like as if it's a whole lot of things, but it's not. It's something that can be done, and over a long period of time, the more you do it, the more offers you put in, the more you views, this whole process becomes seamless. It becomes second nature. I always say to people, your first property, do not manage it yourself. If there's an estate agent who manages property in that area, I always say work with your property manager. If you're doing that, you're learning from them, and on your second one, you can at least do it yourself, having the guidance of the property manager on your first property. That way, you're not making mistakes. My business coach always says, if you want to have a shortcut to success, always do it with someone else who has done it or who is doing it professionally. And that's my advice to you. But these are the steps on how to actually buy, step by step, on how to buy your first investment property ever. And you can actually do this from anywhere without having to do anything. However, if you think that you need some more, there is the M5 Property Varsity, where you can actually get more information. Besides more information, you get to have a whole lot of free videos. And over and above that, you can get to hire mentors as and when you need them. And over and above that, you can also get involved in the group coachings that happens from time to time. But this is over and out from me, TJ, your investor of the year. Cheers, 2019.